your lawyer or you personally formed an LLC, which is a limited liability company, or a partnership, general partnership, and everybody's very positive and very excited about this new venture. And let's say you're operating for a number of years, but things change. One of your partners, if not just one or multiple partners, may want to leave that business at some point in the future and may not want to be a member of that limited liability company or that partnership anymore. So what do you do? Well, you can't just skirt out and send a letter in and say, I'm out. When you sign an agreement and enter into a partnership, you are getting married. You are technically joined at the hip, and one can't just walk out the door without the other's involvement. We see a lot of this because when we help a lot of people through their kind of wealth and legacy building, they have a lot of partnerships and businesses and things, or they just may be members of an LLC that owns a shopping center, whatever that is. But whenever you're a member of an entity like that, there's a few things you need to be aware of. First thing you need to be aware of is read your documents. Read the operating agreement for the entity or partnership that you have, and read the articles of incorporation that were filed when it was formed. That will tell you, if at all, what happens when a member wants to leave. Generally, if that provision is in your documents, you will have like a buy-sell agreement where you have to offer it to the other members first to give you fair market value before you can go out to the open market. Sometimes there's a restriction for you being able to go out to the open market and find a replacement partner, because who wants to be partners with someone that you have no idea who they are? And I just sold off to someone that you have to operate with now for the next 10 years. In the absence of a provision in your operating agreements or your articles, a state statute in your particular state will apply and will rule essentially what happens with your situation when you want to get out. Number two is, even if you have an agreement in your operating agreement about what happens when you want to leave, or if you don't, in state statute you don't like the results of that, come to agreement with the other partners and members on how you exit. There's a lot of things that can follow you, so I always recommend having agreement regardless, because there are liabilities. You may have signed on certain bank forms. You might have even guaranteed a loan together. There's other things that will follow you after you leave unless you address them with your partners when you exit. And number three, when all else fails and you can't come to agreement, there's no hardline provision in the documents on how it works when you leave, then you got to go to court and sever the partnership agreement or the LLC to a certain extent. It doesn't necessarily tear it down, but it allows the court then to decide, and that's very costly, takes a lot of time. So the overall message here is, before you get way too excited about a venture, my recommendation is, of course, seek the advice of counsel as well as financial counsel, because there's a lot of taxable event issues that you need to be aware of on buying, selling, etc. And always make sure you are partially, at least, in love with your partners. If you want to talk about it some more, feel free to reach out.